nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Mr. Wright, would you lead us in a moment of prayer?
Sure. Father, thank you so much for this opportunity to be together as a district. And Lord, be with us as we deliberate these issues of budget. Give us wisdom and understanding. In Christ's name, amen.
Amen. I thought for a minute you said, would he leave us in prayer?
I think Mr. Charlie Douglas will call a roll call, please.
Actually, I'm going to do
Gonna do
that.
that? Okay.
And let me start with our statement. In accordance with Section 200.065 and Chapters 1010 and 1011 Florida statutes, I submitted the tentative balanced budget for 2015-2016 and recommended the millage to be levied on. On July 21st, 2015, you approved the tentative budget and millage for advertising. On July 30th, 2015, you approved the tentative millage and budgets. The purpose of today's public hearing is to adopt a resolution or ordinance stating the millage rate to be levied and amend the proposed final budget as you see fit. That budget will become the official District School Board of Putnam County budget for fiscal year 2015-2016. Okay. Rhonda, are we ready?
We have to do
Yeah,
roll
if you
call.
want to do the roll call vote.
Oh, for the first, okay. I thought we did it after we voted, okay.
Yeah, this is just to
District
show-
1,
Here, present.
District 2,
Present.
District 3,
Here.
District 4,
Here.
District 5.
Present. Good afternoon. Thank y'all for staying around and getting this final budget hearing out of the way. As mentioned, we're here today to present, discuss, and adopt the final millage rates and the final district budget for the 2015-2016 school year. You've each been either given a packet of handouts or they're online that you can see, and we'll go through those. And I do apologize that some of you are seeing this for the second or third time, but in order to follow the Florida Truth in Millage guidelines, I have certain items that I need to present to you today and discuss. The first item is the rollback rate, and you all have a handout on online. And the rollback rate is the millage rate that it would take to bring into the district the same amount of tax revenue as we received last year. It is applied to the current year tax base, and it does not include the effects of new construction throughout this past year. That rollback rate is 7.3509 mils. Our proposed millage rate of 6.9240 mils will bring in only 94.19% of the tax revenues that we received last year. Our proposed millage rate is 5.81% less than the rollback rate. If you'll look at page 2 of the millage handout, you'll notice that our millage rate this year is decreasing by 0.28 mils from 7.240 mils last year to 6.924 mils this year. The decrease is attributable to the decrease in our required local effort. And what the required local effort is that each school board that participates in the state allocation of funds through the Florida Education Finance Program for the current operation of our schools, they must levy the millage set for its required local effort from property taxes. The legislature sets the amount of the required local effort, and each district's share of the state total required local effort is determined by a statutory formula that is initiated by certification of the property tax valuations of each district by the Department of Revenue. If you'll look at page 3 of the millage handout, if a property owner's appraised value of their property is the same as last year and everything else remains the same, let's say a person with an appraised valuation of $100,000 would see a decrease in their school taxes owed of $21 for this year. Moving forward, the next item I'd like to discuss is the district summary budget. You'll see from your package that this is a one-page compression of our budget that's summarized by fund type, revenue source, and expenditure function. Now, this did change slightly from our tentative budget as we've had time in the ensuing month to post depreciation, compensated absences, and the OPEB, which is other post-employment benefits, that liability to our NEFAC funds. NEFAC is required to be treated as a business entity, and these are liabilities that are required by the Governmental Accounting Standards Board, and they have to be accrued. We had small changes in other funds as additional accounts receivables were made known or corrections made. Now, the detailed budget is provided in the notebook over by Ms. Pam, and that is line by line, cost center by cost center. So at any time, she will have that, or I can email you a copy of it if you want that. And first broken down by cost centers so you can get a good idea of how the budget looks. From the one-page document that you have, I always like to call attention to the fund balances. So there's two amounts that I want to call your attention to. In the first column, general fund, you'll notice that our July 1st, 2015 beginning fund balance in the general fund, and that's what was left over after all expenditures and revenues from last year, is $5,536,019.23. And then down at the bottom, near the bottom of that same column, you'll see that our estimated June 30th, 2016 fund balance is $3,664,257.79. Your next handout provides an explanation of those two totals. The 2014-15 ending fund balance of the $5 million, that becomes our July 1st starting fund balance, and it's comprised of the reserve for project balances within Fund 100 of $1,003,000, the reserve for encumbrances in all of projects in Fund 100. That money has been encumbered and is already spoken for, of $209,719.54. The reserve for inventory, which is not a cash item, but our inventory does have a value of $478,237.85. We have our carryover 3% mandated unreserved fund balance from 2014-15 of $2,183,311.57, and then we have the balance of our cash fund balance, which is unreserved, and that's $1.3 million, $1,315,042.19. Now, going forward and estimating what we expect the ending fund balance for 2015-2016 on June 30th, 2016 to be, it is significantly less than the beginning, but we don't take into account the expected reserve for project balances because we have them all budgeted out to expend, and we don't have those encumbrances in there. So those first two items up above are not considered in the bottom. There will be some left over, and we'll look at that later on, but that's one of the reasons why there's a significant difference. But another is also that we are spending more than our recurring revenue, so it takes some of our carryover fund balance each year to help balance the budget. So as you can see, the expected year-end fund balance of $3.6 million is broken down for the inventory again. We've set aside some reserves for the McKay scholarships, for the FTE audit adjustment. In case we're down, set aside some money for being FTE shortfall. Potential audit payback, that one has gone away because we don't have any of that anymore. Possible proration of funds in the FEFP in case more students come in and they don't have enough money to fund us at the rate they said they would. Our 3% mandated unreserved fund balance again, and a small amount left in the unreserved fund balance.
Ron, a quick question.
Sure.
I'm sorry. Given the fact that our count is so far has been significantly lower than we expected, are we still good there?
We are still good there because that count is lower than what we allocated out at, but it's not lower than the DOE FTE count. So we should still be able to receive the amount of funds that we have.
Okay.
But we did allocate out at a much higher FTE than DOE had projected us at.
Okay.
Okay?
All right.
Your next handout is a document entitled "How Much is Our Budget?" It's just given to you for informational purposes. It takes our entire proposed budget. It subtracts out items that are in more than one place. If you'll look at the less double counting, the maintenance transfer shows up in the general fund as a transfer in, and in the capital project funds as a transfer out. So since
Okay.
it's in two different funds, I like to subtract that out so
Yeah.
it's not double counted. The property casualty insurance is also in two different funds because one, it's transferred into the general fund from capital, so it's in capital as an expenditure transfer out, and in general as a revenue source transfer in. Our health insurance, the $11 million there, each fund that pays people has the expenditure sitting in it for our health insurance, and after a payroll's run, we transfer the money over into health insurance and pay the bill there. So technically, it's in different funds too, so we take that out. Then we take out the NEFEX because that money doesn't belong to us, and then that brings the budgets down to $137 million. And then I also like to look at what was beginning fund balances, and I take that out so you can really see how much the budget is. It's the recurring revenue budgets. It takes out fund balances and double counting and everything. Again, it's just for informational purposes, and the final handout is also for informational purposes, and it's something we've been doing for years. It just lets you see the sources of the revenue in each fund, if it's federal revenue, state revenue, local revenue, how the calculation of taxes, how that's the millage, how much it brings in the different, in the general fund and the capital outlay fund, and then expenditures, where it all goes. So you can see all that broken down by fund source, and you can take that and look at it whenever you have nothing else better to do. But before we do go to the roll call vote, I wanted to see if there's any questions for me on any of the information I've provided today. Like I said, I didn't bring as many handouts as I did at the first public hearing. I brought then the board's budget. I brought the capital ad that was in the paper and how much capital dollars and the decline in BSA and enrollment over 12 or 13 years. But, you know, we've done that over and over, so I didn't want to take up your time again today with that.
Ms. Allen, do you know roughly, is our income the same for the 15, 16 year as it was for the 14?
It's a little bit more. From the state, we received about $1.3 million more.
Okay.
But that basically was not enough to cover the additional amounts that we had negotiated, because we had an automatic July 1st raise for instructional and classified, and we had just given one, I think, in April of the last year, so it wasn't enough to cover that right there. So that's another reason why the expenditures are a little bit more than the revenue coming in, even though we had an increase in revenue.
And we're allowed to do that. As long as our budget is balanced, we can spend more.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. And that's why we have the reserves, why we have the rainy day funds to help us during these times. We haven't expected that these times would last as long as they have. When we started declining back in 2007-8, when they took so much money away from us. And this was the first year that we actually went over the amount base student allocation that we had in 2007-8, but with the effects of inflation, it didn't, you know, we're really still not back where we were in receiving funding way back then when everything fell apart.
Well, what concerns me is I understand that the reserve is there for times when we don't have enough money coming
Yes,
in
ma'am.
and we absolutely have to spend some money. I can assume then that the reserve we had at the end of last year was the result of account rollovers.
Yes, ma'am.
Which really aren't spendable. I mean,
Well-
they're spendable by those people. It's really not extra money that you
Exactly.
have to pay bills.
Yes,
So now we're down to $32,000 to start off,
right.
to end this
32.
year. And
The expected end for this year, yes, ma'am. Last year, our expected end was only 15,000, if I'm not mistaken, but then once everything rolled back, because people didn't spend, you know, as much money as had been budgeted to spend, you know, it went up to $1.3 million, so.
we get that back at in the next budget.
Yes,
So
because
it
all
goes in
budgets start
reserves, but
new,
it
comes
out
right back
reserves.
out.
It's not
Yes, ma'am.
technically money we have. So
Yes, ma'am.
technically, we've
Unless
got-
we cut and say you're not getting as much or something like that.
Exactly. But
Yes, ma'am.
My concern is 2 years from now, when we've spent the 32,000,
Mm-hmm.
it's gone now because we keep decreasing the
Yes,
amount
ma'am.
we have in reserve because we keep spending more than we have.
Mm-hmm.
That's my concern. That's, that's all I have to say, is that
Okay.
I've been harping on that for 5 years because I see that number keeps going down and it
Mm-hmm.
makes me nervous, that's all.
It was about 15,000. I'd have to go back and look, but it was roughly estimated about 15,000. And you also, you have to remember that our revenues are also estimated, and it may be that you bring in more revenue than you had
Exactly.
expected and everything, so.
Yeah, I
when
understand
we
that's
have the
just an estimate,
Yeah,
it's a guess.
when we have the rollback at year end, it's a combination of more revenue received than we had expected, and people or departments and schools not spending the entire amount of their budget. And when we budget out salaries, we budget out by each individual person that's already there throughout the year. Somebody retires, somebody cheaper comes in, might have a period of time or months where a sub is hired, and that's a lower rate than an actual teacher. So we have situations like that that frees up some salary money throughout the year. And then, again, all schools or departments, something might change through the year and a planned expenditure might not occur. So we have budgets that roll back, and it does help us at the end of each year. But then again, we turn around and we budget it back out.
And you offered to send us a digital file.
Yes, ma'am.
Let me ask you, almost every meeting, or once a month anyway, we make budget amendments. So they wouldn't be reflected in an original, is there a website that's maintained with this information? So that
right.
budget amendments would show?
Yes, on the, you have to go to the finance office website on the school district's website, and I think they're a little behind now because media has been shorthanded and everything, but each time that we do budget amendments, we put them out there so that they can be on the website. And anytime we run reports, whoever gets a report, whether it's for a department, a school, whatever, the first column says original budget, so that will never change, and the second column shows the revised budget.
Right. Okay.
But yeah, it should be out there at all times. If you go to our website, to the Putnam County School District's website, go to departments, find fiscal services, it should be there. I know the budget's there and amendments are there
I just didn't
also.
want to have you send that to all of us and then 6 months now, that's not
It's a
really
different-
what it
yeah.
is,
Right.
exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you very much.
No
Any
problem.
more questions for Ms. Odom? I think we'll get started with this. Anybody from the public want to say anything? There's nobody here from the public every year, every year. Okay,
Are we ready? I'm sorry, Terry?
No, I'm just waving at all the public.
Okay. All right, if we're ready, District
Yes.
1.
You gotta read
we
the
have
Have a
to
motion?
read one by one and.
number
get a
one.
motion.
Number
Number
1.
one,
D.
final general fund budget of 90,000, 90 million.
No. We start with the millage
Approve
rate.
final required local effort millage rate.
It should
Local millage
be,
rate.
yes, C.
Okay. I entertain a motion to approve the final required local effort millage rate of 4.676 mils.
So moved.
No, wait a minute. Okay, yes, second.
Motion and second on the floor.
Now it's your turn.
Now you
Okay, District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
approve.
District 5.
Approve. Number 2, approve final discretionary millage rate of 0.748 mils.
Second.
District 1,
I made a motion.
you okay?
Oh,
You jumped the
sorry.
gun, that's okay.
thought there was a motion already made. My bad.
I
District
make a
1.
motion that we approve.
Approve.
Okay, District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve. Approve final capital outlay millage rate of 1.5 mils.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final total millage rate of 6.924 mils, which is 5.81% below the rolled back rate.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final general fund budget of $90,709,333.51.
Move approval.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final debt service funds budget of $226,825.77.
Move approval.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4, District 5.
Approve.
Approve final capital projects funds budget of $11,306,991.40.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final special revenue funds budget of $13,435,803.03.
So move.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final internal service funds budget of $27,343,779.28.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final trust and agency funds budget of $129,202.77.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approve final enterprise funds budget of $32,673,692.92.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4, District 5.
Approve.
Approve total district final budget in its entirety of $175,825,628.68.
I move we approve.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approval of resolution determining revenues and millages levied for 2015-2016.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approve.
Approval of resolution adopting the district summary budget for 2015-2016.
So moved.
Second.
District 1,
Approve.
District 2,
Approve.
District 3,
Approve.
District 4,
Approve.
District 5.
Approved.
We will transmit the budget to Tallahassee tomorrow, and we will we will adopt the budget on the system, and printouts will be sent to all departments and schools, notifying them of their final budget, and we will go from there.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Odom.
Thank you.
We're adjourned. Thank you to all the public.